All right, to make an E Carle Caterpillar, we're going to need some sort of decorative paper. So you might be able to find some wrapping paper that's either used or unused. So if you unwrapped a present, that can make for a really nice paper we could do a collage with. You might have a colorful printed out paper of something you no longer need to have a picture of, and this could be cut up into circles to make the parts of a caterpillar body. Or you can make your own decorative paper like E Carle does, although we'll do it a little bit neater. He uses lots of paint and paint splattering. But we can also make special paper. You could do this on white paper, that would be fine. I'm going to use colored paper because I have it, and I'm just going to put lines, different kinds of lines and shapes on my paper to make it decorative, right? So instead of it just being a plain paper, it's going to have all kinds of cool lines and designs that will then get cut up to make my caterpillar. So I can think of different kinds of lines I know how to make. Wavy line. You can make it from side to side or top to bottom. Definitely know how to make wavy lines. I mentioned I'm using markers. You could do this with oil pastels if you are allowed to use paint and you have paint at home. You could certainly make beautiful papers using paint, crayons, colored pencils, any colored media that you have. I can do another kind of line. So I could put straight lines from top to bottom, or from side to side, sorry. Just did top to bottom. I could have done wavy lines again in a different color or in the same color in a different direction. I'm not trying to make a picture. Not really at this point even trying to think about the fact that this is going to get cut up to be a caterpillar. Just kind of having fun making a fancy special paper. Now I think I could do some loop-de-loop lines. All right, this paper is starting to look fairly covered everywhere. You could keep going and adding more and more if you wanted, but we'll go ahead and make the caterpillar now. So you're going to need to make circles. I would recommend you flip your fancy paper over so that you can really see your circles to be able to cut them out and glue them down. You could simply draw circles or ovals that will become caterpillar parts. You can draw a circle in the air first and then kind of put it down on the paper. Or you can find something to trace. There are lots of circle tracers. A roll of tape, the bottom of a cup. You wanted small circles, the bottom of a glue stick could work. So certainly nothing wrong with drawing your own or finding a tracer. I did half and half. You want to have 6, so at least 5. I think 6 is better, makes a better caterpillar. And I'm going to cut these pieces out and then glue them down. All right, I have my circles cut out, and now we're going to glue them down. I'm going to glue them down so that they overlap slightly. Now I want the pretty, the decorative side of the paper to be what shows. So I am putting the glue on the plain side of the paper. Had I cut my circles out of this paper, my glue would go on the plain side, so the fancy side was sticking up. Same if I had a printed paper, glue would be on the plain side, fancy side, right? The decorative side would go up. So these circles are going to overlap. They're not going to be totally on top of each other, but there's going to be an area where they touch. We don't want any white space in between. So to make a collaged caterpillar, I am cutting and gluing circles onto a background paper, a solid piece of paper. Doesn't have to be white, it could be colored. And the segments, the different little segments of his body need to overlap. All right, maybe looks like on this paper five circles is actually going to work quite well. Now he needs to have a face. What else do caterpillars have? What are some other things I could add? I can go ahead and do this with my marker, or you could cut out more paper and glue it down to be a collage. So for face, my caterpillar needs some eyes. I just feel like giving mine eyebrows, so I did. You could give it a little nose if you wanted to. And I'm gonna give my caterpillar a great big caterpillar smile. He is a happy caterpillar. I'm gonna give him some antennas, so a line coming up off the top, and then you could put a circle at the end, or you could have done a spiral at the end, or however you think would look cute for an antenna. And then other things I could add, some little feet, right? Caterpillar have little legs that they move around on. And then in the space around your picture, if you have time, you could add a background. So you could add grass, or you could make it look like he is on top of a big leaf or on a tree branch. Or if we're thinking of the story of the very hungry caterpillar, you could think of the different things that the caterpillar liked to eat and maybe put some of those things up in the sky. So I remember he ate some watermelon. So I'm going to make a watermelon. You could make it make sense, right? Like make it look like your caterpillar is living on something and in a specific environment. Or you can just kind of fill up your picture space with ideas of what you think the caterpillar would eat, or maybe some things you think he would like to do. I remember in the storybook, this caterpillar, he ate some silly things too. Watermelon's kind of silly, but he also ate an ice cream cone and a lollipop. So maybe if I like ice cream cones and lollipops, that is something fun that I could add to the background, because that is something I like too. I actually really like cupcakes. So I am thinking I could add a cupcake. So number one thing you're trying to accomplish is a collage caterpillar, either out of paper, fancy paper that you made or that you found. And then if you cut it out, glue it down, the 5 or 6 circles, add a face and some legs. And if you have time, add things to create a nice background, right? So that we don't just have one caterpillar and a bunch of empty space, but we have a nice background created as well. I cannot wait to see your caterpillar creations.